Sorry to keep you guys waiting. The attendance tonight was 7,000 something. Horrible handwriting here. Gate was 358,000. Fight of the night, Nunes and Bart. Knockout of the night, Michael Johnson. And submission of the night, Edwards. Those guys won $40,000 each. Congratulations, gentlemen. Who's got the first question?
Yes, we can start with John, please. John, obviously, less than a year after your official promotional debut, it looks like you've got a title shot lined up. Dana, that's still the case, correct?
Yep.
Title shot lined up. So talk to us about how
Two of
the
fastest guys ever in the UFC.
Yeah. Talk to us about how you're feeling right now.
I feel great. It's going to be a fun fight for me. I just can't wait for me and Mighty Mouse to fight. That's the only thing I really got to say. It's going to be fun. It's going to be explosive. And beating Juicy De Silva is one of the best fighters I ever had to fight to this day, you know. I know Ian McCall's kind of mad.
Can you talk about how the fight played out versus your expectations and maybe, the boos that were coming in? Did you hear that? Did that factor into your approach? How did that play out?
You know what? I can't sit there and hate on the fans for booing because of the fact that they got so spoiled in the beginning of the earlier fights. There were so many knockouts, so many great back and forth battles, and also great submissions right before me. And then I get out there and I'm being very technical. They're like, "You suck!" I had some hot blondes come up to me with a smile, like, "Hey, you suck!" And I was like, "Yes, somebody says I suck." That was only my reaction to it. So for me, I can't complain about them booing, but I did give them a knockout, so they start cheering afterwards.
And one final one for you. I know you said that you and Demetrius will be the fastest fight anybody has ever seen, but beyond that, have you really started to break him down yet? Have you seen any holes in his game? Have you figured out how you think you can dethrone him?
I've already done that plenty of times. I've seen that fight happen probably 1,000 or 1,000,000 times in my own head. I've watched plenty of videos on him. I'm just not going to give you guys my secret yet. I'll let you guys see it when it happens.
Sounds good. If I could just cut for Travis real quick. Can you talk to us? I guess it looked like your left leg was injured. Can you tell us about when that happened and what occurred?
Yeah, it was. I think it was like the first kick I threw. My left hamstring popped like 3 times. So, putting that aside, Bigfoot came out. He won a fight. Not trying to take anything away from the guy. Come back stronger.
Can you talk about the finishing sequence, though? How much of that was your leg that you couldn't put weight on it, or how much of it was really just the punches connecting flush?
I kind of want to go back to what I just said. I don't want to take anything away from Bigfoot, He came out, he capitalized on something that he saw, and he won a fight.
Dana, we've seen some great flyweight fights of late. The flyweight tournament crowned in spectacular fashion, and then we had 2 great flyweight fights tonight. How frustrated are you at this point that the crowds still aren't seeming to get into the flyweights?
Yeah, it's a little weird, man. I don't know if, I think guys get 10, 12 beers in them and expect guys to run out and do the windmill or something. But, it's a very important fight for both guys. So, like he said, it was a technical fight. He waited, he got his opportunity, and he capitalized on it. That's fighting. That's the beauty of 2 of the best in the world going at it, I don't even know what to say. And then he finished the fight, and they're cheering. He gave them what they wanted to see at the end of the night, So you just can't go out with that much on the line and just run straight out like 2 freight trains and try to kill each other,
Dana, obviously Travis came in as the favorite tonight. We thought if he won this fight, it would sort of solidify him in the top 10. Can you speak to where the upset kind of leaves both him and Bigfoot in the division?
Yeah, no, this was a big fight for the heavyweight division and for these 2 guys. Travis being undefeated and Bigfoot looking to get back into the mix in the heavyweight division, and he did that tonight. And I agree with what Travis said. I've seen so many fights in the UFC where a guy blows his knee out in the middle of the fight, or guys break their hands or whatever, and the fight goes the distance. He saw that he was hurt, and he went in and he finished. He capitalized on it and finished the fight. So he looked good tonight.
And Bigfoot talked leading up to this fight about how he considered it to be a must-win for him. Can you speak to that a little bit? Was he fighting for his job tonight, or do you know?
Well, I don't know if he was fighting for his, but when I went in and talked to the guys after the weigh-ins, this is one of those fights. One of those businesses that unfortunately, we're all as good as our last fight, them and us, the UFC. So every fight's important. It's not like one fight is more important than the other. They're all important.
For Travis, did you see anything that surprised you tonight from Silva?
Not at all. Not at all.
And can you talk a little bit about what your game plan was coming in? And was it just to use your speed, try to kind of outquick him, or what was the game plan there?
You know, yeah, it was to come in, use my movement, athleticism, cut corners or cut angles, and re-attack a lot. And yeah, I just didn't follow through.
Any more questions? Go ahead, John.
I guess I just wanted to ask Jake about the performance tonight. Obviously, you know, one of the more tentative fights that we've seen you fight, but you were in control throughout. You know, what was the approach and how did it play out versus your expectations?
You know, I knew going into this fight, Jay was going to be a dangerous opponent. Anybody who knows MMA knows, you know, how much experience this guy has. I've trained with him too. I know him really well. He's well-rounded. He's dangerous. So, you know, the first round, filling him out a little bit, and you know, for me, there's a lot of things that I've made to made some small adjustments moving forward. I mean, obviously tighten up my defense, learning from that last fight against Campman. You know, but you know, each fight learning and moving forward. So that's all I can do. You know, keep learning, keep growing, and on to the next one.
I know you kind of got off track with that last loss, but you're still 7-1 in your last 8 fights. What do you want to do from here? I mean, do you want to take a couple, you know, kind of mid-tier fights to get a few more wins under, or are you going to be pressuring Dana to, hey, you know, make sure I'm still in that top mix?
No, you know, that's not my job. You know, I'm just going to keep training.
He is,
better.
though. He is. He's there. You know, tonight was one of those, like he just said, anybody in this business that knows Jay Haran knows he's a tough guy and been around for a long time. And this was one of those situations where Jake was in this position where Jake is one of the top-ranked guys fighting a guy who's fighting for his life. You know, it means everything for that kid to win tonight and get back in the UFC. So it was a tough fight for Jake, and I respect him for stepping up and taking the fight. And I didn't mean to cut you off, buddy.
Oh, no worries, no. Yeah, I mean, for me too, you know, I'm coming to this fight, you know, we don't get to choose who we fight, so, you know, whoever they tell me to fight, I'm going to fight and be as prepared as possible for it. So, you know, like I said, Jay's an extremely a tough opponent, so I had to fight smart. You know, I got some of the best trainers in the world, Master Rafael Cordero, everybody down at Rain Training Center, my brother. So just got a great team with me, you know, moving forward.
Right. If I could ask Michael, please. Mike, can you walk us back to that first round? I don't know how much of you remember at this time, if you had a chance to see it, but walk us through the opening round. You know, how hurt were you? How close was the choke? All those things, and how did you make it through?
The first round was kind of funny for me, actually. He caught me slipping. You know, I left my hand down a little low, and next thing I know, the floor wasn't underneath me where it was in the beginning. So he jumped on me. You know, the choke was very tight. But, you know, it was one of those things on the occasion where I'm either going to let a 2-fight streak go down the drain and everything I worked hard for go out the window. I'm going to fight through this and get to the second round. So, you know, hats off to him. You know, he fought a good first round, but I knew if I just got out of that trouble, then I was going to come back in the second.
And I guess what does a bonus check mean to you? That's a nice thing, right?
Yeah, that's a very nice thing. It means a lot. My AC in my car is actually going out. It's hot in Florida, so I need something to fix that.
Jacob, I was wondering if you could talk to us a little about your performance tonight. You obviously got a great reaction from the crowd here in Minneapolis. And how does this affect your prospects in the division and your candidacy for president?
Not sure how it affects my prospects in the division. You're going to have to ask Dan about that one. But I think it's going to help me with the candidacy. I'll hopefully get a few more write-ins.
All right, Dana, where would you put Jacob Volkman? What's his next fight?
The candidacy? I think a finish always gets you a few more votes. And in a little more favorable position in the, you know, on what fight you get next. So he looked great tonight. It was a good job.
Yeah, for Bigfoot, yeah, leading up to this fight, you talked about how you knew this was a must-win for you. Can you just tell us how you're feeling after the win?
I'm gonna try answer in English, okay, guys? Now I'm very happy. You know, my first win in UFC is the big show in the world, and I'm training 2 months for this fight because I say before, this fight for me, I have only one opportunity. I can't make any mistake. For me, it's a kill or die, and I gotta kill.
Victoria Balachova, Russian Chicago magazine. My question is for Travis. Travis, there is a saying that who never loses never gets up. How do you feel about your first loss in UFC?
I'm sorry, one more time?
There is a saying, who never fails never gets up. How much important for you is it, and how do you feel having your first loss in UFC?
All this does is motivate the hell out of me. Yeah, I'm just ready to come back and heal up. I'm still the same fighter, but I'm gonna come back even more pissed off and more and harder this time. I fucking hate losing.
My next question is to Jake. Jake, it's been a long time when you last saw Jay in the cage. How much anticipation was it for you to come back tonight after 6+ years of losing decision to him?
Well, you know, I didn't really look at this fight that personally, you know. Each fight's different. So, and coming, you know, especially coming off a loss, you know, you learn a lot about yourself. So, for me, staying hungry and being motivated, I knew, you know, like I said, I know Jay really well, and I've trained with him before, so I knew he was going to be a dangerous guy. So, you know, it wasn't really as much as a revenge factor, I should say, is just fighting smart and doing what I have to do to win, get on the back in the win column.
And my last one to you, Dana. This card, so to say, has a lot of jeopardy around it. One guy didn't make weight, the other one got arrested. How much light does it put on UFC as a world-known company?
Every card has drama now. Every day when I get up, it's like a big soap opera. Every day. This is my life. What does it do? It sucks. I mean, this is, you know, but it's part of when you have 475 guys under contract, you know, from all over the world, shit happens. And I'm the guy who deals with it.
How important this kind of lights will be going for you in Rio during this next week, and then go into Macau, like taking UFC on International 11 again?
Yeah, what was the question about it, about going there?
Like this little situation that happened here in the United States, how is there a way to deal with them when you're going to be overseas?
When things like this happen in other countries? I mean, it's the same no matter where we go in dealing with different problems. And like I said, one thing that people have to understand, these guys are all human beings, and you know, they're heroes to many people, but they're real people with real problems, and you know, things like this happen. Depending on how severe the problem is or what they do, this is a company that really gets behind and supports their people. You know, a guy like Dennis Hallman, you know, hasn't always seen eye to eye with this company. And, you know, he's got some serious personal problems right now. And no matter what has happened in the past or whatever, I respect everybody who fights, and I respect everybody who's helped, you know, piece by piece build this company and this sport. And we gave Hallman his show and win money before we cut him. So, you know, I respect everybody who fights. And Jeremy Stevens is a young kid, you know, young, dumb kid who made a mistake and then made a bigger mistake by not taking care of it. But he's got a side to this story. You know, everybody's got a side to the story. And I'm always, you know, I look at the problem and see what it is. And I'm always gonna believe my guy and support my guy until I'm proven wrong, unless he goes and handles this thing and, you know, we find out what the real story is. So I'm always going to support the guys or girls who fight for us or work for us.
And my last one really quick. We're coming back to the end of the 2012. Looking into 2013, what countries on the international level are marked up for you to visit with the UFC?
What new countries in 2013?
If there is any particular and specific ones that
yeah,
you're
we're gonna make a big run in India in 2013. We're gonna be doing a lot of work over there. That's the one we're really focused on and really ready to kick it into gear.
UFC or Ultimate Fighter?
Both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dana, I guess since Jeremy Stevens got brought up with that situation, can you give any detail at all?
Yeah.
I mean, did you know about the severity of the charges, what exactly he's facing?
So what happened is, I get the call this morning that he's been arrested at his hotel room. I go straight to the police, the sheriff's department here, and you know, start putting the pieces together on what's going on and how to fix it. So I was, I'm sure you could tell by my tweeting, I was 100% confident that I was going to get him out for this fight. So basically what happened is they do not like him in Des Moines, Iowa, where this warrant is from. And basically, he's in one of those, they're going to extradite him, one of those situations down, or not. We'll see what happens with this whole thing. But, the kid's been here since Monday. No secret that he was going to be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They arrest him almost at noontime on Friday after he weighs in yesterday and everything else happens. So in my opinion, after dealing with this all day, that was done on purpose, number one. Number two, I cut the deal with the people down in Des Moines, Iowa to get him out. Done deal. We cut the deal. I agree to it. We're going to get him out. They changed the deal. Okay. Well, I accept that deal too. They changed the deal. Every time they would lay out a new deal, I would accept it and they would change it. They kept trying to make it harder and harder and harder. You know what I mean? And then you know me, especially after I tweeted, the media to shut up and this fight, you knew this fight I was going to do. I was devising a plan to break him out and come over here and do this fight. So they finally get to a deal with me for an astronomical amount of money to bail him out. And I agreed to it. And then they did it again. So they're going to stick it to this kid big time when he gets down to Iowa. They don't like him. They're going to stick it to him. And they rode me out all day playing games with me just to listen. I know people have gone on 3-state killing sprees, get friggin' bailed out of jail. You know what I mean? This kid's got an assault charge in Des Moines, Iowa. And he is not going to have fun when he gets there because they got it out for this kid big time. And again, he's got another side of this. There's two sides to the story, and like I said, I'm gonna support my guy, but you don't have to be Rampage or John Jones or some of the big stars in the UFC. If you're in the UFC and you're in here and you've helped us and you're a fighter here, I'm gonna support you. I'm gonna have your back, depending on how serious the matter is.
Can I ask why you were so adamant about having him fight? Because it seems a lot of people were saying, hey, even if the guy gets out, he's probably in no mind frame to be fighting.
Two regular people. Two people, people that are sitting home, all big deal. It's a big deal to him. This kid isn't John Jones or Rampage. Do you know what losing this purse means to a kid like Jeremy Stevens? It's a huge blow. This is how these guys make a living. This is how they feed their families. This is, he spent money to get to this fight. Money he probably didn't have. And now he's really screwed because the fight didn't happen. I was willing to have 2 police officers, armed police officers, bring him from jail to come fight tonight and then bring him back to jail. Let's do that. Let the kid get paid because he's going to have to spend money on this thing anyway. He's got a family to take care of. It's just crazy. I've seen crazier shit than this. Floyd Mayweather got to decide when he went to jail. You know what I mean? But this kid on an assault charge couldn't come out and fight today. When he would have gone back to jail, I would have bailed him out. I would have flew him to Des Moines, Iowa to face the charges down there. I was willing to do anything. And they dragged me out and played games with me all day. So that's why I'm so pissed, and that's why I was so shitty about it today on Twitter too. I hate seeing stuff like this happen to the guys. And yeah, there's no doubt he's responsible for the situation. But again, he's got a completely different story. We all have different stories when we're in trouble, But I was trying to help him.
I guess last question on that topic. Can you reveal what you decided to do financially for him and for Yves?
Yeah, and that. Yves Edwards, just to show you how much I thought this was going to happen, Yves Edwards was told 35 minutes before the main event that his fight wasn't on. That kid was wrapped up, warmed up, and ready to fight. And he's an old school, it's guys like Yves Edwards that have built this sport to what it is today. These are the guys that I'm talking about that helped us get it where it is today. It's an honor to be in business with a guy like Yves Edwards. Some of these new guys, man, my head's all fucked up. I can't take this fight now. Yves Edwards was in that locker room ready to fight, and I respect him and I appreciate him. He'll be paid his show money, and then we'll get him a fight. I don't care if we have 37 fights on one card coming up here soon. Yves Edwards will be on it. I'm going to get him a fight as soon as possible.
And Jeremy, did you give him a check as well? Or?
Jeremy's in a whole nother world of trouble. That guy might be in Des Moines, Iowa for the next 2 years. I'm telling you, I've never seen a situation where a guy couldn't get out on bail for an assault charge. It's an assault charge. He didn't murder 3 people. He didn't kill 20 people in 3 states. He didn't. He's not wanted for any horrible crimes. It's an assault charge. He's in big trouble. So I don't know what's going to happen with Jeremy.
Dana, do you have any UFC fights planned for Des Moines, Iowa coming up?
Nope. There's going to be one down there, though. There's going to be a battle down there for him. He's in big trouble, that kid. I feel bad for him.
Was there any reason given for him not getting arrested prior to today?
I think it was calculated. I think they did it on purpose, you know?
Like
if this happened on Thursday, we could have got this resolved. If it happened on, Wednesday, Tuesday, he's been here for a week, you know? How about yesterday? He was on national television weighing in. They didn't grab him last night. They grabbed him at almost noon today on a Friday where it's tough to, where they made it very difficult to get this thing done. So eventually where it just, they dragged it out till it couldn't happen.
And do you think that they did that in an effort to embarrass him or to embarrass the entire sport?
No, I think they did it in an effort to make him not fight, not get paid, So we'll see what happens.
Actually, off the topic of Jeremy Stevens, I know you slipped in that you take care of your guys and girls in the organization, and we've seen a lot of Ronda Rousey around this weekend. Are we any closer at all to seeing that Rousey-Cyborg fight happen?
Yeah. I was talking about Ariani, but no, I'm kidding. Yeah, are we gonna? What'd you ask me?
If we're any closer to seeing Rousey-Cyborg happen?
I think so. Yeah, I think we are.
Any more detail than that?
I've been no. You've been seeing me hang around with Ronda a lot, right?
Yes, we have.
Yes. So I'm working on it. Next question.
Michael, my question is to you. What advice did you get from Greg Jackson after the first round? And I know there is another expression, wounded animal coming back twice stronger, being twice dangerous. How dangerous were you coming into the second round?
Greg Jackson was in the locker room with his other corners.
What advice you get?
No, I'm joking. It was Henry. It was Henry Hoosman, George Santiago, and Kamaru Usman. Those are my corners. And he just told me to keep my hands up, pretty much, which obviously is the thing that everybody saw. I asked him, what he hit me with. He said, well, you kept your hands down. You just relax. He wasted a lot of energy and go out the second round on fire. So, I knew he was tiring out, and I just stayed strong in that second. What was the other one? Was that it?
Sorry about the Greg Jackson.
No, you're fine.
My
It's
mind
all
is
right.
You're full of awesome quotes, though.
I'm not a philosopher, I'm just learning.
Any other questions, gentlemen and ladies? My man over here. Go ahead, just yell it out to me. What do you got?
Jake, Dana says that you've been pushed closer into contention. Do you have anyone that you're eyeing that you'd like to fight? Top of your list?
The division's deep. For me, I just focus on getting better, moving forward. So, like I said, I'll fight anybody they put in front of me.
I'm wondering, what do you think about when we talk about super fights with GSP, if GSP beats Condit, and then maybe he'll go and fight Silva? As someone in the division, what do you think about what happens to the division then? As a holding pattern, or do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't understand your question, sorry.
Well, I guess the question's for Dana, too. If GSP beats Condit and goes on to do a super fight with Silva, what happens to the division then with the title?
That GSP Anderson Silva fight is just talk. It's not reality. When I know a lot of people are counting Stephan Bonner out and think that this fight is a joke and everything else. Stephan Bonner has never been finished in the UFC. He's never been knocked out. He's never been submitted by anybody, and he's been fighting all the best at 205 his entire career, from John Jones to you name it. He's fought them all, right? This is going to be a tough fight for Anderson Silva, and if Anderson wins this fight, even though he'll never get the credit for it, it's another huge notch in his career, man. This guy's broke every record in UFC history, and this is a big fight for him. George St. Pierre, the fight with Carlos Condit is no joke. Carlos Condit's a real guy, a tough guy. So honestly, and I mean this is no bullshit, We will see what happens with those 2 fights. I haven't even talked to George St. Pierre or Anderson Silva about those guys fighting each other. If things all, work out that way, we'll see what happens. But there's no guarantee that fight's going to happen. Cool? Cool. Were there any more questions? Was there one more that had a question? I saw somebody else's hand raised. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this one's for Marcus, actually. Being that the fight was a split decision, it was a close fight, how confident were you that you were the winner in the fight, and how does it feel to get your first win in the UFC?
And I knew the fight was pretty close. I'm not too sure how the first round was scored or the second round, but I do know that I did get some takedowns in the first and in the second round. I know in the third round, I was trying to put some hands on him. I thought I landed a couple of nice punches, and maybe that got me the victory. I was pretty confident, but obviously, you never know. They say never leave it to the judges, and there I was. But I was just I said a few prayers, and then they said Marcus, prospect investor. The first fight's great. I'm looking for the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much for your support. We appreciate it. Have a good night.